Forced into early retirement, I took my Rolodex of 2,000 industry contacts they can't Google. They thought firing me at 47 would be the end of my career. Instead, it was the beginning of theirs falling apart. I'm Sarah Mitchell, and for 23 years, I was the beating heart of Quantum PR, the agency that represented everyone from Fortune 500 CEOs to A-list celebrities. I wasn't just an executive, I was the connector. The woman who knew which journalist would break your story, which influencer genuinely moved markets, which board member was secretly looking to jump ship. My phone buzzed at 3 a.m. with texts from people who trusted only me. And in March 2023, they tried to erase me like I was nothing more than an outdated Excel file. But before I tell you how I watched them crumble from my new corner office, let me take you back to the day my world detonated. The conference room on the 32nd floor had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Chicago. I'd sat in that room 1,000 times, negotiating deals, strategizing campaigns, mentoring junior staff. The morning of March 14th, 2023, I walked in at 9 a.m. sharp, expecting our standard leadership meeting. Instead, I found Marcus Chen, our 34-year-old CFO, and Jennifer Hastings, the HR director who'd been with the company for exactly 11 months. No one else. "Sarah, please sit," Marcus said, not meeting my eyes. He wore a navy suit I'd helped him pick out for his wedding 2 years ago. I'd introduced him to his wife at our annual gala. The sick feeling hit my stomach before my brain caught up. "Where's everyone else?" I asked, remaining standing. My charcoal Armani blazer suddenly felt too tight. Jennifer slid a manila folder across the polished oak table. "We need to discuss a transition plan." "Transition?" I laughed, but it came out brittle. "We just landed the Morrison account. I closed a $3.2 million deal last Thursday." "Sarah," Marcus finally looked at me, and I saw something worse than guilt in his eyes. Calculation. "The board has decided to restructure the senior leadership team. We're moving in a more contemporary direction." Contemporary. The word landed like a slap. "I'm 47, Marcus, not dead." "This isn't about age." "Then what is it about?" My voice rose despite my best efforts. "My client retention rate is 94%. I brought in $47 million in revenue last year. I've won 6 industry awards. What exactly am I failing at?" Jennifer's smile was practiced, sympathetic, completely hollow. "You've built an incredible legacy here, Sarah, but the industry is changing. Our clients are demanding digital-first strategies, social media expertise, influencer relationships. I manage 15 influencers with a combined reach of 80 million followers." My hands were shaking now. I gripped the back of the leather chair to steady them. "I created our entire digital division in 2019. I taught half this company how to use Instagram for business." "Please sit down," Marcus said quietly. I did, because my legs wouldn't hold me anymore. The folder contained my severance package. I'd seen enough of these to recognize the structure. 8 weeks of pay, continued health insurance through June, a glowing letter of recommendation, and a non-compete clause that would keep me out of PR for 18 months within a 500-mile radius. "This is insulting," I whispered. 8 weeks? After 23 years? "It's generous for a voluntary resignation," Jennifer said. "I'm not resigning." "You are." Marcus leaned forward, and now I saw it. the ambition I'd mistaken for earnestness all these years. Or we'll be forced to document performance issues that will make it very difficult for you to find equivalent work elsewhere. The threat hung in the air like smoke. What performance issues? My voice was steady now, cold. Your communication style has become abrasive. Several junior staffers have complained about feeling intimidated. There's been resistance to new technologies, reluctance to adapt. That's complete fiction. We have documentation, Jennifer said, patting another folder I hadn't noticed. Emails, witness statements, a pattern of behavior that constitutes a hostile work environment. I stared at them both. These people I'd mentored and trusted and championed. Marcus had been a nervous intern when I'd hired him in 2015. I'd taught him everything. Jennifer had come from a failing startup. I'd convinced the board to give her a chance. You fabricated a case against me, I said slowly. Neither of them denied it. Why? The word came out broken. Marcus had the decency to look uncomfortable. The board wants younger leadership, faster decision-making, a different energy. Brandon Stewart pitched them, didn't he? Brandon was our 29-year-old VP of Digital Strategy, brilliant, ambitious, and ruthless. I'd seen him positioning himself for months. Brandon will be taking over your accounts, Jennifer confirmed. The transition begins Monday. You're replacing me with someone who's been here for 3 years? He understands the current landscape, Marcus said. Crypto clients, NFT launches, Web3 integration. Half of that is vaporware. I was on my feet again. Brandon couldn't close a door, let alone a deal with a Fortune 500 CEO. Do you know why our clients trust us? Because I've spent 2 decades building real relationships, not collecting LinkedIn connections. This decision is final, Sarah. Jennifer stood, signaling the meeting's end. You can leave today with the severance package and our gratitude, or we can begin formal termination proceedings tomorrow. Your choice. I looked at Marcus one last time. I got you this job. I fought for your promotion when the board wanted someone with an MBA. I know, he said quietly, and I'm grateful, but this is business. Business, I laughed, sharp and bitter. You'll learn what that word really means. I took the folder. I walked out of that conference room with my head high and my heart shattered. The open plan office fell silent as I crossed to my corner office, the one I'd occupied for 12 years, the one with photos of 3 presidential campaigns I'd worked, celebrity clients I'd launched, causes I'd championed. My assistant, Rachel, was crying at her desk. She was 26, brilliant, someone I'd been grooming for bigger things. They made me give a statement, she whispered as I passed. They threatened my job if I didn't. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I'm so sorry. I squeezed her shoulder. It's okay, honey. I understand. But I didn't. Not really. Not yet. I had 20 minutes to pack my office before security would escort me out. Standard protocol for terminated executives. I didn't take the awards or the photos or the expensive art pieces clients had gifted me over the years. I took my Rolodex. Not a literal Rolodex, of course, but 3 leather notebooks filled with handwritten contact information, personal details, family names, inside information that no database could capture. Which CEO's daughter was applying to colleges? And which board members could write recommendation letters? Which journalist just had a baby and was looking for flexible story opportunities? Which CMO was secretly job hunting? Which influencer's contract was up for renewal? 23 years of relationship building distilled into 3 notebooks that weighed maybe 2 pounds total. I also took the external hard drive from my locked desk drawer, the one containing every pitch deck, every strategy document, every contact list I'd ever created. My work, my intellectual property, created on my personal laptop before the company issued equipment, backed up meticulously for years. Marcus appeared in my doorway at 9:47 a.m. Security is here. 2 uniformed guards I'd chatted with 1,000 times in the elevator stood behind him, not meeting my eyes. "I need my contact list transferred before I go," I said calmly, "for client continuity." "All company materials stay with the company," Jennifer said, materializing beside Marcus like a corporate vulture. "That includes contact databases, client lists, and strategic documents. The contacts in my personal notebooks are my relationships built over 2 decades. Developed using company resources and time, company property," she smiled. "You can leave those notebooks on your desk." Here's what Jennifer Hastings didn't know. I had a photographic memory for numbers and names. Here's what Marcus Chen didn't know. I'd been digitizing those notebooks for 5 years, backing them up to 3 separate cloud services under my personal email. Here's what neither of them knew. I'd spent 23 years becoming irreplaceable, and you can't replace irreplaceable by firing it. "Of course," I said, setting the notebooks on my desk. "Company property." I picked up my purse, my coat, and the external hard drive that looked like a phone charger in my palm. Rachel hugged me in the hallway, mascara streaming down her face. "What are you going to do?" I thought about the non-compete clause I would never sign. I thought about the 2,000 contacts who knew my personal cell number. I thought about Brandon Stewart, who is about to learn that relationships aren't transferable like stock options. "I'm going to remind them," I said, "why they should have negotiated." The elevator doors closed on Marcus's face, and I felt the first spark of something that wasn't devastation. It was rage. Pure, cold, focused rage. And as I walked out of Quantum PR's headquarters for the last time, my phone was already buzzing. A text from Jonathan Reeves, CEO of Maverick Industries, one of our top 5 accounts. "Heard what happened. They're insane. Call me when you land. We need to talk about our contract renewal." I smiled for the first time that day. They thought they were firing me. They had no idea they just fired themselves. I sat in my car in the parking garage for 45 minutes, unable to turn the key. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Texts, calls, emails, flooding in from contacts who'd already heard through the industry grapevine that Sarah Mitchell was out at Quantum. In PR, news travels faster than wildfire. It travels at the speed of gossip, which is to say, instantaneous. I didn't answer any of them. Not yet. Instead, I drove to my apartment in Lincoln Park, the 2-bedroom I'd bought outright in 2018, no mortgage, because I'd learned early that security matters more than luxury. I poured myself 3 fingers of Macallan 18, sat on my balcony overlooking the lake, and let myself fall apart for exactly 2 hours. I cried, I raged, I threw my phone across the room. It survived. I'd invested in a good case. I called my sister in Portland and sobbed into the phone while she made murderous threats against Marcus and Jennifer that were both completely illegal and deeply comforting. At 2 p.m., I stopped crying. At 2:15 p.m., I opened my laptop. At 2:30 p.m., I started making a list. The severance package sat unsigned on my kitchen counter. 8 weeks of pay meant $38,461.54 before taxes. I'd calculated it immediately because numbers calm me down. But signing meant accepting the non-compete, and that meant professional death. I had $340,000 in savings, a paid-off apartment worth $580,000, a stock portfolio worth another $290,000, no kids, no spouse since the divorce in 2019, no debt except a car payment I could settle tomorrow if needed. I could survive for years without working, but survival wasn't the plan. My laptop screen glowed with 3 documents I'd created in that first afternoon. Document 1, the contact audit. 2,347 professional contacts across industries, categorized by relationship strength, contract status, and likelihood of following me to a new venture. I gave myself a ruthless assessment. 2,000 of these people would take my call. 800 would meet with me within a week. 200 would move business to me immediately if I asked. Document 2, the legal analysis. I'd forwarded the severance package to 3 employment lawyers by 3 p.m. By 6 p.m., all 3 had called back with variations of the same message. The non-compete was likely unenforceable. Illinois courts disfavor agreements that prevent someone from earning a living in their profession. The 18-month radius was probably excessive. And most importantly, if they fired me instead of me resigning, they couldn't enforce it at all, which meant I wouldn't be signing anything. Document 3, the revenge plan. I titled it Phoenix Strategy because I'm not above a little drama when no one's watching. It had 3 phases, timeline mapped to 18 months, with specific targets and measurable outcomes. I was studying phase 1 when my phone rang. Jonathan Reeves, calling instead of texting. "Tell me they offered you something incredible to leave," he said without preamble. Jonathan was 52, CEO of Maverick Industries, a manufacturing conglomerate with $2.3 billion in annual revenue. I'd managed their PR for 9 years, including a brutal product recall crisis in 2020 that could have destroyed them. Instead, we turned it into a case study in corporate responsibility. They offered me a severance package and the privilege of never working in PR again. Silence. Then, "Jesus, Sarah, they forced you out?" "With prejudice." "Who's taking over my account?" "Brandon Stewart." Jonathan's laugh was sharp and humorless. "That kid? He pitched me some crypto PR strategy last year that was so half-baked I thought it was a joke. You know our contract is up for renewal in May, right?" I did. $850,000 annually, their largest PR spend. "Jonathan, don't," he interrupted. "Don't pitch me yet. But don't think I'm staying with those idiots either. Our board meeting is April 10th. Call me April 11th with whatever you're building." He hung up before I could respond. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't fear. By Friday, March 17th, 3 days after my execution, I'd received 42 calls, 93 texts, and 214 emails. The messages fell into 3 categories. Category 1, shock and sympathy. Junior staffers, former colleagues, industry friends expressing disbelief. Rachel sent me a 7-paragraph email detailing how Brandon had already pissed off 3 clients by calling them legacy brands that needed disruption. I filed that information carefully. Category 2, opportunistic poaching. 17 competitors offering me jobs, partnerships, positions. All of them contingent on bringing my client relationships with me, of course. I politely declined every offer. I wasn't interested in making someone else rich while I rebuilt from scratch. Category 3, the real gold. 26 clients, current and former, reaching out directly. Some offering condolences. Some asking what happened. Some, like Jonathan, making their intentions crystal clear. Melissa Torres, CMO of Cascade Technologies, $430,000 annual contract. Brandon already tried to get me on a call about revolutionizing our content strategy with AI influencers. I want to work with a human who understands humans. What's your next move? David Park, founder of 3 successful startups I'd taken public. You made me look good when I had nothing but a pitch deck and a dream. Whatever you're building, I'm in. Amanda Chen, no relation to Marcus, thank God, VP of Communications at a pharmaceutical company. Our contract renewal is in August. I'm not signing with Quantum. Send me your new details when you have them. I responded to each one personally, by phone when possible. Not pitching, not asking, just thanking them, telling them I was evaluating options and promising to stay in touch. By Sunday night, I had a running tally, $6.4 million in potential annual contracts from clients who were explicitly willing to leave Quantum PR. On Monday, March 20th, I filed the paperwork for Mitchell Strategic Communications, LLC. The lawyer I hired was named Patricia Vance, a 61-year-old bulldog who'd spent 30 years fighting employment discrimination cases. She cost $485 an hour and was worth every penny. They're going to threaten you, she said in our first meeting, reviewing the severance package I still hadn't signed. They'll claim you're stealing clients, violating confidentiality, tortious interference, all the standard corporate intimidation tactics. Can they win? Not if we're careful. She leaned back in her chair, fingers steepled. Here's what you can't do. You can't directly solicit Quantum's current clients while their contracts are active. You can't use proprietary strategies or documents you developed for them. You can't badmouth them publicly. And what can I do? Patricia smiled. You can accept incoming calls from clients who contact you. You can inform people you're starting a new firm. You can negotiate with clients whose contracts are expiring. And you absolutely can refuse to sign this absurd non-compete. They threaten to fight me if I don't sign. Let them try. Illinois Employment Agreement Act is on your side. Besides, she pulled out another document. I did some research on Marcus Chen. He signed a non-compete when he joined Quantum. It had a 2-year restriction. He violated it by jumping from his previous firm 9 months into that period. I stared at her. He violated his own non-compete? The previous employer didn't have the resources to fight, but it's documented, which means if Quantum tries to enforce yours, we bring up their CFO's hypocrisy in court. Tends to make judges unsympathetic. I hired her on the spot. Retainer, $25,000. Worth it for the ammunition alone. I worked from my apartment for 3 weeks, running Mitchell Strategic out of my dining room table with a laptop and a dream. No office, no staff, no overhead except Patricia's legal bills and a website designer charging $3,000 for a clean, professional site. The website went live April 3rd.
Minimal copy. Mitchell Strategic Communications. Strategic PR for companies that value relationships over algorithms. Founded by Sarah Mitchell, former Senior Vice President at Quantum PR. I didn't list clients, didn't make claims, just stated facts. The phone started ringing within hours. Some calls were from reporters asking about the split. I declined all interviews. Some were from recruiters trying to poach me again. Still not interested. But some were from the contacts who mattered. April 5th, Melissa Torres called. Our quantum contract expires May 1st. We're not renewing. Can you handle our account starting May 2nd? Absolutely. $430,000 annually. Same terms as before? I'll send the contract today. Client number 1 secured. April 8th, David Park. I'm launching a new fintech app. Need full PR strategy, media relations, crisis prep. You interested? Send me the details. How's $180,000 for 6 months sound? Perfect. Client number 2 secured. April 11th, Jonathan Reeves, right on schedule. Board approved a new PR agency search. We're soliciting proposals. Yours is due April 20th. I'll have it ready. Sarah, make it good. I'm going to bat for you, but I need ammunition. Trust me, Jonathan, you'll have everything you need. I spent 9 days on that proposal, 43 pages of strategic analysis, media opportunity mapping, crisis prevention protocols, and a comprehensive Year 1 plan. I included case studies from our previous work, all public information, nothing proprietary, and a pricing structure that was 15% less than what Quantum charged them. I delivered it April 19th, 1 day early. Jonathan called April 25th. The board voted unanimously. You're our agency of record starting May 15th. $850,000 annually with performance bonuses. I actually cried. Professional, experienced, 47-year-old Sarah Mitchell cried on the phone with a client. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. You saved our asses in 2020. We don't forget that. By May 1st, 6 weeks after my firing, Mitchell Strategic had 7 signed clients, $2.8 million in contracted annual revenue, a small office in River North, 950 square feet, $4,200 per month, 2 employees, Rachel, who quit Quantum to be my Director of Client Services, and Marcus Kim, a brilliant media strategist I'd mentored years ago. By June 1st, 14 clients, $5.1 million contracted, 5 employees, a waiting list. The industry publications started calling it the Mitchell Exodus. Business Insider ran a piece titled, "How One Fired Executive Took Half Her Former Company's Clients, Legally." I still declined interviews. I didn't need to gloat publicly. The numbers spoke for themselves. But on June 14th, I got the call I'd been waiting for. Marcus Chen, my former protege, the man who'd orchestrated my firing. "Sarah," his voice was strained, "we need to talk." "Do we?" "You're destroying us." I looked around my new office, modest but growing, filled with people who believed in doing things right. "I'm building my company, Marcus. What you're experiencing is the consequence of your decisions. You're poaching our clients." I'm accepting calls from people who want to work with me. There's a difference. The board is furious. Brandon is overwhelmed. We've lost $7.2 million in contracts in 3 months. Then you should have thought about that before you decided I was too old to matter. Silence. I'm sorry, he finally said. For what it's worth, I'm genuinely sorry. It's worth nothing, Marcus. You made your choice. You chose a CFO position and a pat on the back from Brandon Stewart over 2 decades of loyalty. That's fine. That's business, right? But don't call me now that business isn't going your way. Sarah, we're done. Don't call again. I hung up. Rachel, who'd been listening from her desk, let out a whoop. That was ice cold, and I loved every second. I'm not a monster, I said, but I was smiling. I'm just a woman who knows her worth. That night, I updated my Phase 1 checklist. Establish competing firm. Secure foundational clients. Achieve financial stability. Demonstrate undeniable value. Make them regret it. Phase 2 was about to begin. And Phase 2 was where things got interesting. By September 2023, 6 months after my execution, Mitchell Strategic Communications occupied an entire floor of a renovated building in River North. 12 employees, $8.9 million in annual contracted revenue, a client retention rate of 100%. Quantum PR, according to the industry reports I definitely wasn't obsessively tracking, had lost $11.4 million in contracts since March. I wish I could say I felt nothing watching them struggle. I wish I could claim some moral high ground, some evolved state of forgiveness. But I'd be lying. I felt fantastic. The real turning point came on September 22nd, when Amanda Chen called me in a panic. Sarah, I need crisis management, now. Amanda's pharmaceutical company, Riverside Therapeutics, had just gotten hit with a lawsuit alleging side effects from one of their flagship medications. The kind of crisis that could tank a company's stock price in hours if mishandled. Talk to me, I said, already pulling up their file. We have a press conference scheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Our legal team drafted a statement, but it's defensive, aggressive, wrong. And guess who Quantum assigned to handle it? Brandon? He's been on the phone for 3 hours talking about leveraging social media to control the narrative and getting crypto influencers to shift the conversation. Sarah, we're facing a class action lawsuit about a heart medication. We don't need TikTok damage control. We need actual crisis PR. I checked my watch. 4:47 p.m. on a Friday. Send me everything, the lawsuit, your legal statement, all internal communications. I'll have a full strategy ready by midnight. You're not even our agency yet. Our contract with Quantum doesn't end until November. Consider this a consulting engagement. We'll formalize it November 1st. Right now, I'm helping a friend. I heard her exhale. Thank you, God, thank you. My team and I worked through the night. Rachel coordinated with Riverside's legal team. Marcus Kim drafted a statement that acknowledged concerns without admitting liability. I personally called 6 medical journalists I'd worked with for years, providing background information and offering exclusive access to Riverside's chief medical officer. By 6 a.m. Saturday, we had a complete crisis response plan, a revised press conference strategy, pre-briefed media contacts, a patient hotline, and a comprehensive internal communications plan for Riverside's employees. The press conference went perfectly. Riverside's CEO delivered our statement with exactly the right balance of concern and confidence. The story got fair coverage instead of sensationalized hit pieces. Their stock price dipped 3% instead of the 15 to 20% they'd feared.
Amanda called me Sunday night crying. "You saved us. Brandon's strategy would have made us look guilty and desperate. How much do I owe you?" "Nothing. This one's on the house. But Amanda, when your contract ends in November, I'd love to earn your business properly. It's yours. I'll have our legal team send termination notice to Quantum on Monday." That was $430,000 more in annual revenue. But more importantly, it was a case study that would ripple through the industry. By Monday morning, 5 other Quantum clients had called asking about my availability. October brought the profile I'd been avoiding for months. PR Week, the industry's most prestigious publication, ran a cover story. The Phoenix of PR, how Sarah Mitchell built an empire from the ashes of betrayal. They'd interviewed 27 people, clients, employees, competitors, industry analysts. The article was 4,000 words of unflinching examination of what happened at Quantum and what I'd built in response. The most damning quote came from an anonymous Quantum employee. They thought they could erase her institutional knowledge by firing her. Instead, they learned that Sarah Mitchell wasn't the employee, she was the institution. The article detailed Quantum's decline, 15 major clients lost, staff turnover at 34%, revenue down $13.2 million year over year. It contrasted this with Mitchell Strategic's meteoric rise. 0 client turnover, 23 employees hired in 7 months, projected first-year revenue of $12.4 million. But the section that went viral was my single comment, the only quote I'd agreed to give. "I don't believe in burning bridges, but I do believe in letting people experience the natural consequences of their choices. If you build your career on relationships and someone tries to take that from you, the market will correct itself. Loyalty isn't old-fashioned. It's the foundation of sustainable business." Within 48 hours, that quote was on LinkedIn 12,000 times. Industry leaders were citing it in speeches. Business schools were adding it to case studies. And Marcus Chen was reportedly in emergency meetings with Quantum's board. The unraveling of Brandon Stewart was almost too perfect to believe. In November, he made a catastrophic mistake with Nexus Automotive, a $1.2 million account I'd managed for 8 years. They were launching a new electric vehicle line and needed comprehensive media strategy for the unveiling at the LA Auto Show. Brandon pitched them on disrupting the traditional auto journalism model by giving exclusive access to YouTube car reviewers and gaming streamers instead of automotive journalists. The CEO, Richard Hartley, called me personally. "Is this kid serious? We're launching a $75,000 luxury EV, and he wants us to ignore Car and Driver and automotive news to focus on teenagers who review video games?" "What did you tell him?" "I told him to send me a revised proposal that didn't sound like it was written by someone who learned about cars from Fast and Furious. Sarah, I've been patient. Our contract is up in January. I want to come back to you." "I'd be honored, Richard." "There's more." His voice dropped. Brandon leaked details about our EV specs to a tech blogger
trying to build pre-launch buzz. Except the specs were confidential, and we hadn't filed the patents yet. Now our competitors know our battery range and charging speeds 6 months before launch. My stomach dropped. That's not just incompetent, that's potentially actionable. Our legal team is handling it, but Sarah, this is exactly why I worked with you for 8 years. You understood that discretion matters, that relationships with journalists are built on trust, not stunts, that some information is sacred. Nexus Automotive sent Quantum a termination notice November 15th, citing breach of confidentiality. They signed with Mitchell Strategic November 16th. The industry whispers got louder. Brandon Stewart, the golden boy who was supposed to represent the future of PR, was systematically destroying everything I'd built at Quantum. December brought the offer I never expected. Vivian Cross, CEO of Cross Media Holdings, one of the largest PR conglomerates in North America, invited me to lunch at Alinea, Chicago's 3 Michelin-star temple of gastronomy. The kind of place where lunch costs $500 per person and you need reservations 3 months in advance. Vivian was 58, brilliant, and commanded every room she entered. We'd been professional acquaintances for 15 years, mutual respect from a distance. "I'll cut to the chase," she said, over the 3rd course, some deconstructed interpretation of lobster that probably cost more than my first car. "I want to acquire Mitchell Strategic." I set down my fork carefully. "We've been operational for 9 months. And you've built something remarkable. $12.8 million in revenue your first year? 23 employees who followed you out of loyalty, not stock options? Client retention that makes my analysts weep with envy?" She smiled. "Sarah, I've been doing this for 32 years. I know talent when I see it." "What's the offer?" $18 million cash, plus earnouts that could reach $35 million over 3 years. You'd stay on as president of our Midwest division, full autonomy, equity stake in the parent company. It was a staggering offer, life-changing money, security for the rest of my days. "I need to think about it," I said. "Of course. But Sarah," Vivian leaned forward, "don't think too long. You've proven your point. You've shown Quantum and everyone who doubted you that they made a catastrophic mistake. You've won. Now the question is, what do you want to do with that victory?" I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my balcony with my laptop, running numbers, scenarios, futures. $18 million would change everything. I could retire at 48, travel, write the book I'd always talked about, never worry about money again. But Mitchell Strategic wasn't just a company. It was proof. It was 23 people who'd bet their careers on me. It was revenge served not in spite or cruelty, but in excellence. And I wasn't done yet. At 3 a.m., I opened my email and started typing. The December 18th edition of Crane's Chicago Business ran an exclusive interview with me. I'd agreed to talk because the story was about growth strategy, not revenge porn. The reporter, Michelle Torres, was sharp and direct. "There are rumors that Cross Media Holdings approached you about an acquisition. Can you confirm?" "I can confirm that we've had conversations with several interested parties." "And?" "Mitchell Strategic isn't for sale. We're growing organically, building something sustainable, and I'm not interested in cashing out." "Even for 8 figures?" "Success isn't just about the exit, Michelle. It's about building something that matters. I have 23 employees who took a chance on a startup run by a woman who got fired from her last job. I'm not going to sell their loyalty for a payout, no matter how attractive. The article ran with the headline, "Mitchell's Message, Some Things Money Can't Buy." Rachel framed it and hung it in our conference room. January 2024 brought the final domino. Quantum PR's board of directors forced Marcus Chen to resign as CFO. The press release cited strategic differences regarding company direction. Translation: they needed a scapegoat for losing $15.7 million in annual revenue. Jennifer Hastings, the HR director who'd orchestrated my firing, left to pursue other opportunities 3 weeks later. Industry sources told me she'd been fired after an internal investigation revealed she'd fabricated employee complaints against multiple senior staff members, not just me. And Brandon Stewart? He was demoted from his VP position and reassigned to junior account management. The golden boy who was supposed to save Quantum was now handling small business clients with $30,000 budgets. I learned all this through the industry grapevine. I didn't gloat, didn't celebrate publicly, didn't say a word. But I did send Marcus an email. One line: "I hope you got what you wanted." He never replied. By February 2024, 11 months after my firing, Mitchell Strategic had 42 employees, $16.3 million in annual contracted revenue, office expansion into a second floor, 3 industry awards for campaign excellence, client waiting list of 6 months. Quantum PR had lost 40% of their senior staff, revenue down $19.2 million year over year, 2 major clients threatening lawsuits for negligence, board discussions about selling the company. I ran into Marcus at an industry conference in early February. We stood in the hotel lobby 20 feet apart and just looked at each other. He'd aged, gray at the temples now, lines around his eyes that weren't there a year ago. I walked over, professional, calm. Marcus. Sarah. He looked like he wanted to say more, started several times, finally managed, "You were right. About everything." I know. For what it's not worth anything, I said gently, but I appreciate you saying it. He nodded, started to walk away, stopped. "Are you happy," he asked, "with what you built?" I thought about my team, my clients, the company I'd created from nothing but scorched earth and sheer determination. "I'm proud," I said. "That's better than happy." He walked away, and I felt the last piece of anger dissolve. I'd won. Not because they'd lost, though they had, but because I'd proven that talent, relationships, and integrity matter more than age, algorithms, or ambition without ethics. The revenge wasn't in their destruction. It was in my resurrection. March 14th, 2024, exactly 1 year since my execution. I didn't plan to mark the anniversary. Revenge completed doesn't need ceremony. But my team had other ideas. Rachel decorated the conference room with a banner that read, 365 Days of Resilience, and assembled the entire 42-person staff for what she called a celebration of growth. There was champagne, the good stuff, catered lunch from my favorite Italian place, and a presentation that made me cry twice. They'd created a timeline of the year, every client signed, every employee hired, every milestone reached. But they'd also included the personal moments, the 3 a.m. strategy sessions, the panic attacks I'd hidden in my office, the day we landed our first 7-figure contract and I'd bought everyone ice cream from the truck outside. "You taught us something this year," Rachel said, raising her glass. "You taught us that loyalty isn't a weakness, that relationships matter more than algorithms, that you can get knocked down and come back stronger without becoming cruel." Marcus Kim added, "You showed us that the best revenge is building something so undeniably excellent that the people who underestimated you have to watch you succeed." I clinked glasses with 42 people who'd chosen to bet on me when I was just a fired executive with a laptop and a grudge. "Thank you," I said, and meant it deeper than any thank you I'd ever spoken, for seeing what we could build when everyone else saw only what I'd lost. That night, alone in my apartment, I looked at the unsigned severance package still sitting in my desk drawer. 8 weeks of pay in exchange for silence and surrender. I'd made $16.3 million instead. I fed the contract to my shredder and didn't feel a thing. April brought the acquisition news that rewrote the industry landscape. Quantum PR was purchased by Mediocre Holdings, a private equity firm known for buying struggling agencies, gutting them for assets, and reselling the pieces. Purchase price? $24 million, down from their $89 million valuation 2 years earlier. The press release was corporate speak poetry: strategic consolidation, market optimization, synergistic integration. Translation: Quantum PR would cease to exist as an independent entity within 6 months. I learned this from a Wall Street Journal article, not from any inside source. I'd stopped tracking Quantum's demise months ago. There's a point where monitoring your enemy's failures becomes less satisfying than focusing on your own success. But I did receive one call about it. Jennifer Hastings, the HR director who'd helped orchestrate my firing, who'd fabricated complaints, who'd smiled while destroying my career. "Sarah," her voice was thin, uncertain, "I don't expect you to take this call. Then why are you calling?" Silence. Then, "I'm looking for work. I was hoping maybe you'd be willing to provide a reference, or at least not a negative one." The audacity was almost impressive. "Jennifer, you fabricated misconduct charges against me. You threatened junior employees into giving false statements. You actively participated in illegal retaliation. And now you want me to help you get another job where you can do the same thing to someone else?" I was following orders. "No." My voice was steel. "You were advancing your career at the expense of someone else's livelihood. That was a choice. Choices have consequences. I'm one of yours. Please." "I won't badmouth you publicly. I won't interfere with your job search. But I will not help you. Goodbye, Jennifer." I blocked her number before she could respond. Rachel, who'd overheard, gave me a slow clap. "Character growth. A year ago, you would have destroyed her." "A year ago, I was angrier," I said. "Now I'm just done. She'll have to live with what she did. That's punishment enough." May 2024 marked Mitchell Strategic's official transition from startup to established industry player. We moved into a full building in River North, 4 floors, 12,000 square feet, space for 80 employees. Our client roster included 17 Fortune 500 companies, 43 mid-sized businesses, and a waiting list that extended into 2025. Annual revenue projection, $28.7 million. But the numbers weren't what mattered most anymore. What mattered was the young account manager who told me Mitchell Strategic was the first place she'd worked where her ideas were heard. The VP who left a toxic corporate environment and found his creative spark again on my team. The intern who said she was studying PR because she'd read about what I built and wanted to do the same thing someday. I'd set out to prove a point. Somewhere along the way, I'd built a culture. The June Industry Awards were held at the Four Seasons, black tie affair, everyone who mattered in attendance. Mitchell Strategic was nominated for Agency of the Year. First-year companies almost never get nominated, let alone win. We were up against firms that had been operating for decades, including 2 of Cross Media Holdings' subsidiaries. I wore a midnight blue Valentino gown and sat at a table with my senior team. Rachel squeezed my hand when they announced the category. And the winner is Mitchell Strategic Communications. The ballroom erupted. I walked to the stage in a daze, accepted the Crystal Award that weighed maybe 3 pounds, but felt like the weight of vindication. The speech I'd prepared evaporated from my mind. Instead, I spoke from the heart. A year ago, I was fired from a job I'd held for 23 years. I was told I was too old, too outdated, too stuck in my ways, that the industry had moved past me. The room was silent. I'm accepting this award on behalf of every person who's been underestimated. Every professional told they're past their prime. Every expert dismissed because someone younger came along with flashier ideas and less wisdom. You are not obsolete. Your experience matters. Your relationships matter. And if someone can't see your value, build something so excellent, they have to acknowledge it from a distance. Standing ovation, 3 minutes long. I saw Vivian Cross in the audience, smiling and clapping. I saw competitors I'd known for decades nodding with respect. I saw my team on their feet, crying and cheering. And in the back of the room, barely visible, I saw Marcus Chen. He wasn't clapping. He was just watching. When our eyes met, he nodded once. Acknowledgement, maybe apology, definitely defeat, and left. I never saw him again. July brought the offer that tested everything I'd built. Vivian Cross called me to lunch again. Different restaurant this time. A quiet bistro where we could talk without performance. You turned me down in December, she said over salads neither of us was really eating. I'm here to make a different offer. I'm still not selling, Vivian. I know. That's why this offer is different. She pulled out a folder. I want you to join Cross Media Holdings Board of Directors. No acquisition, no loss of independence. You keep running Mitchell Strategic exactly as you are, but you'd have a voice in how we run our 16 agencies, a seat at the table for industry-wide decisions, and equity in a company worth $340 million. I stared at the offer. Board seat, $150,000 annual director's fee. Stock options worth potentially millions. Why? I asked. Because you built something in 14 months that most people can't build in a decade. Because you did it with integrity. because every up-and-coming PR professional in this city wants to work for you, and I'm tired of losing talent to your recruiting pipeline." She smiled. "And because I'm 58 years old and thinking about succession. I need board members who understand that this industry isn't about disruption, it's about evolution. You've proven you understand the difference." I took the folder home, spent 3 days reviewing it with Patricia Vance, my lawyer, and my senior team. "It doesn't compromise Mitchell Strategic's independence," Patricia confirmed. "You'd maintain full operational control. This is about industry influence, not acquisition." Rachel said, "You've earned this. You don't have to keep fighting to prove you belong." I accepted the position August 1st. The press release called it a landmark appointment, recognizing Mitchell's transformative impact on the PR industry. I called it closure. September 2024. 18 months since my firing. I was standing in front of Northwestern University's graduate journalism class, guest lecturing on crisis communications and media relations. 47 students, mostly in their 20s, looking at me like I had answers. One young woman raised her hand. "Ms. Mitchell, you're kind of legendary for what happened with Quantum PR. How did you deal with the anger? How did you stay professional when you must have wanted to destroy them?" I thought about that question for a long moment. "I did want to destroy them," I said honestly. For months, that anger fueled me. It got me out of bed when I wanted to hide. It pushed me to make one more call, land one more client, prove one more time that they were wrong about me. The room was silent, but here's what I learned. Anger is rocket fuel, not gasoline. It burns hot and fast and gets you moving, but you can't sustain it forever. At some point, you have to transition from running away from what hurts you to running toward what you're building. I looked at these students, these future professionals who would face their own betrayals and setbacks. The best revenge isn't destruction, it's construction. Build something so good, so solid, so undeniably excellent, that the people who underestimated you become irrelevant to your story. They become a footnote to your success instead of the central plot. Another student asked, "Do you regret anything about how you handled it?" I regret the time I spent being angry instead of being strategic. I regret the nights I lost sleep thinking about them instead of my own growth. But I don't regret fighting back. I don't regret proving my worth. And I definitely don't regret refusing to sign that non-compete. Laughter rippled through the room. "The industry is brutal," I continued. "You will be underestimated. You will face people who value novelty over expertise, youth over experience, flash over substance. When that happens, you have two choices: internalize their assessment or prove them catastrophically wrong. I recommend the second option." October 2024 brought the final piece of closure I didn't know I needed. Brandon Stewart requested a meeting. Not through official channels. He called my direct line, which he shouldn't have had. "I know you don't owe me anything," he said, "but I'm asking for 15 minutes. Please." Against my better judgment, I agreed. Coffee shop, public setting, 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. He looked terrible. The cocky 29-year-old who'd taken my job had become a haggard 31-year-old wearing a suit that didn't quite fit. "I'm sorry," he said immediately, "for everything,
for pushing Marcus to force you out, for thinking I could do your job better, for being an arrogant idiot who mistook confidence for competence. I sipped my coffee and waited. I've been trying to get hired for 8 months, he continued. I have an MBA from Northwestern. I have 5 years of experience. I'm fluent in every social media platform. And no one will hire me because I'm the guy who destroyed Quantum PR. Your success made my failure that much more visible. Good, I said simply. He flinched. I deserve that. Brandon, you didn't just make a business mistake. You actively participated in age discrimination. You convinced the board that youth and digital fluency mattered more than relationships and wisdom. You were wrong, and the market corrected you. That's not unfair. That's consequences. I know, but I'm asking, not for a job, I know that's insane, but for advice. How do I come back from this? I studied him, saw genuine remorse, genuine fear, genuine understanding of what he'd lost. You start by accepting that you have to rebuild from the ground up, I said. No shortcuts, no leveraging past titles. You find someone willing to take a chance on you for a junior position, and you learn the business properly. You spend 5 years, maybe 10, proving that you understand relationships matter more than reach. And you never, ever underestimate someone because of their age again. Will you give me a reference? No, but I won't badmouth you either. What you do with that blank slate is up to you. He nodded, stood, extended his hand. Thank you for seeing me. I shook his hand. Don't thank me. Thank yourself in 5 years if you actually learn from this. I watched him leave and felt the last ember of anger extinguish. March 14th, 2025, 2 years since my execution. Mitchell Strategic Communications now employed 94 people across 2 offices. Annual revenue, $41.3 million. Industry awards, 11. Client retention rate, 98.7%. But I was most proud of the culture we'd built, a place where experience was valued, where junior staffers had voice, where we measured success not just in profits, but in the careers we helped build and the clients we genuinely served. I stood on my balcony that evening, watching the sunset over Lake Michigan, thinking about the Sarah Mitchell who sat here 2 years ago, crying and broken and furious. She'd wanted revenge. She'd gotten something better. Redemption. My phone buzzed. Text from Rachel. Boss, Condé Nast wants to profile you for their Entrepreneurs Who Changed the Game feature. Interested? I smiled. Typed back. Only if we can include the whole team. This was never just my victory. 3 dots. Then. That's exactly why we followed you. I looked at my city, my company, my hard-won peace. They thought they were ending my career. They had no idea they were writing my origin story. And the best part? I'd proven everything I needed to prove. I had nothing left to fight for and everything to build toward. That's not revenge. That's freedom. March 2026. Mitchell Strategic Communications is now a $67 million agency, consistently ranked in the top 10 PR firms nationally. Marcus Chen works for a mid-sized agency in Dallas. He's doing fine. We're not friends,
but we're not enemies. Jennifer Hastings left the industry. I heard she's in real estate now. Brandon Stewart spent 2 years as a junior account coordinator at a small firm, then started his own boutique agency focused on sustainable brands. He's doing honest work. I hope he learned what he needed to learn. And me? I'm 49 years old, sitting in my office overlooking Chicago, mentoring my 20th intern, building something that will outlast me. Sometimes people ask if I'm glad I got fired. I tell them the truth. I'm glad I survived it. I'm glad I fought back. I'm glad I proved that talent, integrity, and relationships still matter in an industry obsessed with the new. But glad I got fired? No. I'm glad I got even. Better, actually.